He had her trapped in the barn. Slivers of light slipped through the wooden boards, shaky and narrow. My daughter's voice broke once, then vanished. That kind of silence that tells you everything before you even step inside. When I entered, the sheriff turned toward me, hand resting on his gun as if it were part of him. Sweat shone on his neck. "Your daughter's trespassing," he said. "This land's under new management." He smiled, chewing on a toothpick. "Just a farmer, Mason. This should have been mine years ago." My hands were steady. They had been for a long time. I just looked at him, then at my daughter, trembling behind the stall door. "Leave," I said. He laughed. "You gonna make me?" "Not me." I stepped outside calmly, pulled out my phone, and dialed a single number. It was time. He was still laughing when I hung up. Laughing when he heard it. Soft at first, then growing louder. Not sirens. Not boots. A dozen pays cutting across the cornfields. You never really leave the service. You just learn to exist among people who think you did. I returned from overseas with hands that wouldn't unclench and nights that never ended. I bought this land to vanish, to grow something that didn't bleed. But peace never lasts where power smells weakness. The sheriff, Collins, had been circling for years. He wanted the land, the water rights, the quiet farmland that answered to no one. He forged documents, lost permits, sent fines that didn't exist. Each move small but deliberate, testing limits. Then he crossed the line. 3 weeks ago, my daughter Hannah came home trembling. She said the sheriff stopped her by the school, touched her wrist, and told her the farm wouldn't belong to her kind much longer. That night, I drove to the station. He grinned from behind the counter. "You threatening me, soldier?" he asked. His deputies laughed. I left without a word. I just started making calls. Not to lawyers, to ghosts. They say men like us can't let go of the past. That's because the past never lets go of us. My old unit had scattered. Some in private security, some in places nobody admits exist. But loyalty doesn't die easy. They answered on the first ring. No small talk, just coordinates. While I waited, I played my part. Quiet farmer, obedient, powerless. Collins strutted around town drunk on his own authority. Everyone knew what he was, but no one challenged him. That's what corruption feeds on. Silence. Every night, I sat on the porch, listening to the wind sift through the corn, counting the seconds between a truck slowing by the gate and speeding off. He was watching us, testing his limits. I didn't tell Hannah what I was planning. She thought I'd given up. But I wasn't done. I was just waiting for the right darkness. When Collins showed up that evening, badge absent, arrogance present, he parked by the barn and walked in. Hannah tended the horses. I heard her voice, then his. That was enough. I stepped inside. His face was hunger and hatred in one. He didn't flinch when he saw me. "This land's mine, old man," he said. "You just don't know it yet." I looked at him, really looked. A coward in authority's clothing. A parasite feeding on fear. "You've mistaken silence for surrender," I said. He laughed. "You gonna call for help?" "The sheriff's department works for me." He was right about one thing. I did call for help. Just not the kind he expected. The sound reached us before the sight. Boots on soil. 12 men moving as one. When they emerged from the corn, the sheriff's mic disappeared. Tactical gear, weapons catching the dusk light. My brothers, my ghosts. Collins stumbled, hand twitching toward his gun. He never touched it. Ramirez, the leader, stepped forward. "You're trespassing," he said. No shouting, no violence, just presence. I didn't have to speak. Collins dropped his weapon, face pale under the barn light. He backed out, muttering promises and threats, filling the silence that had turned against him. They let him go. That was the deal. No bullets, no bodies, just fear. The kind that lingers for life. 2 days later, he resigned, sold his house, and left town before sunrise. The department called it retirement. Everyone else knew better. Hannah asks sometimes what happened that night. I tell her the truth. I can. He's gone. He won't return. She doesn't need to know the rest. She doesn't know the kind of men her father once called brothers, or how fast they answered when I whispered into the dark. The corns toll again. The air smells of rain and ice, life, or something like it. Sometimes, when the wind shifts, I still hear it. Those synchronized steps fading away. I used to fight for flags, orders, men who lied about what mattered. That night, I fought for something real. I didn't need forgiveness, only silence. Because after vengeance, in that quiet, you don't hear guilt. You hear peace. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. Subscribe now to Cheating Stories Insight World for more amazing stories.